Evening, South Carolina Weather Watchers. I am the host for South Carolina Weather, Jesse Peterson, and let's go ahead and talk about the weather. Very important weather update going into tonight. Looking at the radar right now, as you can see, most of South Carolina is looking good, except for if you're down here near the St. Matthews, Orangeburg, Bowman regions. We do have some showers down there, and even some showers that are pushing in from Georgia right now. We have a huge special weather statement going through there. You can see that is a humongous special weather statement. This doesn't even look like it's for any type of severe storm. It looks like it's just for strong gusty winds from the cold front. So pretty much the cold front is actually bringing those gusty winds down over there in Georgia. But South Carolina, as you can see, a bunch of wind advisories are in effect as well. As you can see, wind advisory, if we go ahead and click on this county right here, south winds of up to 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts of up to 40 miles per hour expected. Portions of east central Georgia and central South Carolina. Kind of the same thing for the National Weather Service at Charleston as well, if we want to switch over to there. 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts of up to 40 miles an hour. And at the coast, 45 miles per hour wind gust is expected. So pretty much from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I think for both, yes. So gusty winds will blow around unsecured objects. Tree limbs could be blown down and a few power outages may occur. And one thing that they do talk about as well is that gusty crosswinds on high bridges could also make travel difficult. Like if you're driving like a whole profile vehicle, like a bus or like a semi truck with like a trailer on the back, you have to watch out for those, especially on those bridges as well, because those are definitely nothing that that's definitely nothing that you want to mess with, especially. Um, but going on through, let's go ahead and talk about the entire United States. So switching over to the MRMS, you can see, you can just see the all of the wind advisories are in the brown. You have the flood watches inside the dark green, and just a whole bunch of flood watches and wind advisories going all the way up from Florida all the way up through Georgia and South Carolina as well. And pretty much this is how our system looks right now. We kind of have our little low pressure right here. It's bringing those rain potentially and those potential strong winds moving through portions of like Florida and Georgia right now. We did get a confirmed tornado, a confirmed strong tornado down there in Slidell, New Orleans earlier. And we also did have some 80 to 90 mile per hour wind gusts down there in southern Mississippi as well. So they did get the hurricane force wind gusts like expected. Even, that's like category, I think that's category, close to category 2, but no, I think it's high in category 1 damage over there inside of southern Mississippi. And then we also did have, like I said, that strong tornado in Slidell, Louisiana. If you know anybody from there and you have not, checked it on them, trying to make sure pretty much everyone inside like the New Orleans region, I'd say, if you know anybody inside those regions, you might want to check on them, see what's going on, see if everything's good and okay. Um, you also do have the rain going all the way up into Ohio, Michigan, up here in like Detroit, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, and even up here inside of North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Colorado is getting some of that, and even up here inside the Northeast as well. We also do have some rain up there. Not really a lot of snow. I'm not looking at like really for a lot of snow right now. Maybe a little bit of snow up here inside Minnesota, but other than that, I'm not really watching for any type of snow for right now. We even have rain up there inside Canada as well. Cloud cover right now is looking not that great. You can kind of see where that cold front is. You kind of see like the line in between the actual clouds and the low clouds. You see the blue and the white over there near Alabama. That's where that cold front is, and it's pushing west or east, and it's going to bring again those strong winds in front of it and potential for some isolated severe storms tomorrow as well. Most of South Carolina is covered by clouds, though. Maybe a couple of clear spots near Myrtle Beach, but I'm not. But that's easily going to be taken over by clouds as we get into later tonight. Going on and talking about our current temperatures right now. Current temperature is 71 inside Columbia, 68 in Charleston, 66 in Myrtle Beach, 71 in Sumter and Florence, 68 in Rock Hill, 66 in Greenville, 64 in Anderson, 71 in Augusta, 70 in Savannah. So those are our current temperatures right now. Moving on to our minimum temperatures for tonight. Minimum temperatures can get to around 66 in Columbia, 67 in Charleston, 65 in Moncks Corner, 66 in Myrtle Beach, 61 up there inside Greenville, Spartanburg, 62 in Anderson, 64 in Aiken as well, 61 up there inside Rock Hill. Peak sustained wind gusts, peak sustained wind. Now obviously this is a little bit outdated because it goes from this morning into tonight. I'd expect that these will probably rise around another good 10 miles an hour. So pretty much take your location and add it around 10 to 15 miles an hour, and that will probably be your peak sustained wind gust going into tonight, into tomorrow as well. Same thing with the wind gust, but instead I would add like another 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gust onto that as well for tonight going into tomorrow. Here's our forecast precipitation. This is how much rain that you could potentially see tomorrow inside your area. Definitely watching for Columbia, Aiken as well, as they are getting probably the most rain. Maybe the upstate could try to beat them with a good 4 inches in some spots. But as of now, I think really the main area is probably going to be very, like, up there in the very northern upstate, and then mainly the Columbia and Aiken regions inside of South Carolina. And let's go ahead and talk about just what tomorrow can look like in general. Yeah, I do want to go on ahead and talk about that and show you what it shows. So going on ahead and switching over to scene 2, you can see the composite reflectivity on my screen right now. You can see that most of that storm system with the severe storms and all that kind of stuff is going on already over here inside of Georgia, Florida as well. Going through, we're going to go and switch over to the 18Z because the 0Z has not uploaded yet. And pushing forward, you can obviously see already that those heavy downpours and even those showers starting to moving in around 8 to 9 p.m. tonight, which is obviously right now. And we did have those showers moving into around the St. Matthews region, the Bowman region. And that continues, and you can see the heavy deluge of rain start to come in around 3 a.m. I mean, it's probably going to be pouring at your house around close to in between 3 to 6 a.m. is definitely the time frame. We continue moving this forward. I mean, you can see this line of storms that's going to move eastward, and they're definitely going to bring a punch whether it comes to rain or wind or the isolated tornado threat or even a damaging wind threat as well. You switch over to the dew points. Dew points are obviously inside the 60s. If you look at the 500 millibar wind, you see those winds are cranky inside the atmosphere. And if you go on ahead and switch over to the Cape levels, Cape is not what we're really watching for right now, but definitely some decent Cape inside the atmosphere. So it really just determines on the morning rain how long it lasts and how long it can stabilize the atmosphere. Going into our 10 meter wind gust, I should say. I mean, already this is 7 a.m. and we can already see a good 50 mile an hour wind gust near Savannah, 26 near Columbia, down here in Charleston, 26, Myrtle Beach, not quite started yet, around 17, Florence, 45 is definitely possible. Even up here inside Anderson, around 30. But we continue moving this forward, and you can see as the day moves on, those wind gusts really start to increase. You know, down here in Charleston, you can be getting 50. Down here in Beaufort, could reach up to 65 mile per hour wind gusts at 11 o'clock in the morning. Myrtle Beach, around 40. Lancaster, around 40. Orangeburg, 44. And then we continue moving it forward. Charleston will start to see some 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Summerville, Latson would receive around 52 mile per hour wind gusts at around 1 p.m. tomorrow. Beaufort, 53. Florence, 41. Myrtle Beach, 50. So, I mean, this is definitely going to be bringing a punch. And, I mean, I would not be surprised one bit if a stray 60 mile per hour wind gust came through, even if it's not associated with the storm. Now, the HRRR, it seems like it's showing this with the storms as well, but these could also go out in front of the storm as well. Because, I mean, you can see kind of like the line right here. We switch over to the composite reflectivity, and you can see the storms are right here. So I think what it's really trying to do is it's trying to pinpoint where those storms are, and if it will try to guess and see, well, will the storm bring severe winds, or what will it kind of what will it do, pretty much. And pretty much they're saying that these storms could bring up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts to your region. Continuing on, though, as the storm system moves out of our hair, you can see that's going to be gone. And then, look, we have a second round of showers that's going to try and push in around 7 p.m. So after that main region goes by, do not be surprised if you see another shower again going into, like, all the way into the midnight hours. And then finally we're done going into tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be probably a bit cool, obviously, with that cold front passing us, but definitely sunny and definitely nothing like tomorrow. Moving on, let's go ahead and talk about the SPC outlook, because this is also another big thing that we have to talk about. Obviously, tonight, we don't really have to worry about too much. We're only in a TSTM. But we go ahead and continue on to tomorrow. This is where we start to kind of worry a little bit. As you can see, most of us have actually been downgraded. We are inside of the slight risk this morning, but the SPC was just like, we're not too certain if these storms will get going or not, so it's staying a marginal risk. And if we go ahead and switch over to the 4 panel, you can see that the tornado outlook is right here, and most of us is inside of the 2%, but a little tiny sliver of South Carolina is inside of the 5% risk of tornadoes down there near the Beaufort, Savannah, Hardeeville region. Hail-wise, they don't really expect hail. And wind-wise, if you were inside that 5% chance of tornadoes, you're inside the 15% chance of damaging winds. And we also do have a 5% risk for most of South Carolina again. And if you were inside the 2% risk, you're most likely inside the 5% risk of damaging winds for tomorrow. Moving on, going through tonight as well, as you can see, we still do have a moderate risk that goes all the way from, like, New Orleans all the way through to, like, Georgia. And that's just because, I mean, I don't know if you guys pretty much have seen it on the news already as well, with flash flooding was also a big threat with this. I mean, you could pretty much say that New Orleans was pretty much underwater. I mean, it was a lot of rain, and pretty much most of New Orleans was underwater. I mean, that's just how impactful those storms were. Going through again, though, I mean, you can see tonight we still do have that marginal risk going through Columbia, Savannah, Rock Hill, slight risk going in from Anderson, Greenville, Spartanburg. And then if we go into tomorrow, we have only a marginal risk. So there was a little slight risk up there for the Blue Ridge Mountains, but it's downgraded to a marginal risk. And then day 3, we don't have to worry about anything. And, I mean, now that that's done with, let's just go ahead and talk about the future, because I don't have anything else to talk about with for tomorrow. Obviously, if you have any questions, if you're on the video recording, please leave that in the comment, because I can answer what I can. Moving on to the GFS, we're going to go ahead and switch over to the precipitation type. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to scene 2 so y'all can actually see it. I'm going to wait for this little thing to load. I mean, already, as you can see, the GFS obviously kind of agrees with the no snow scenario. Not really showing any snow going into like 11 p.m. tonight for most of the United States. We continue this forward, though. Not going to last too long, as up here inside Seattle, we can potentially see some more rain go through, with some snow in the higher elevations as well. That storm system is actually going to go on ahead and just leave us. And we're going to go ahead and continue. And we get a nice quiet period. Nothing really to watch for. And I mean, all the way through to like the 16th. Look at us. Look at us. No precipitation. Obviously, a couple of showers cannot be ruled out, because the GFS does not. This is a global model, so it's not really the best at catching like small little dots and small little showers and all that kind of stuff. But continuing on, I mean, again, just some more showers really going into like April the 19th, and continuing. Just quiet weather. I mean, I'm not really seeing anything too bad for the next couple of days, maybe even the next week or two. Not really watching for anything too bad. This is going to be kind of like our last significant weather maker. And then after that, I mean, you can go ahead and zoom through. I mean, you don't really see that much. We have this little scenario up here to potentially cause some strong winds over there in South, like Ohio, Pennsylvania. But I'm not really watching for anything too bad. A couple of showers again on the 19th. and then maybe some downpours going into like the 25th. But that's over 300 hours, so we're not going to talk too much about that. But that's all I have to say. Please make sure that you guys hit the subscribe button as well. We're at 64 last time I checked. Make sure that you hit the like button if you're on the stream right now, as well as if you're on the video form, and if you're on the live stream right now, please make sure that you go to the video form as well, and let us know, and let me know if you enjoyed the video inside the comments as well. Please also make sure that you share this. That's one of the main things. If you was to do something out of the three, I'd recommend that you just share it with somebody that you know. It could be your family members, it could be your friends, it could be somebody that you met at the grocery store last week. Just anybody in general. It does not really matter with me at all. They can be inside South Carolina, they can be inside of Nebraska, New Jersey. It doesn't matter. If they want to watch and see what's going on inside South Carolina and they're not from South Carolina or in South Carolina, that would still help me out immensely. But that's going to be about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow morning with another forecast update, because tomorrow seems like it's going to be a big day for most. We also do have some school districts already talking about as well that they might have to watch out for, school bus and all that kind of stuff, because those are high profile vehicles, and they can easily tip over than a regular car. And I think that's going to be all I have to say. Please keep in touch and make sure that you watch what your school district does, because if one district's talking about it, the other ones probably are too. So that's going to be about it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow morning with another forecast update.